This is Providence Television International, the game changer. Stand by for the next program.
Yes, this is actually the game changer, Providence Television International, and this is the interview segment on the program, The Morning Drive. Well, with me in the studio is Dr. Emmanuel Egariba. You're welcome to the studio.
Well, thank you very much. First of all, I want to thank our viewers all over again. We mentioned some names yesterday, phoning in, messages through WhatsApp and all of that, thanking us for the little we are doing. One is very, very impressed. In fact, overjoyed that, yes, people are responding to us, to what we are doing, from all over the world, actually. And we'll do that once in a while. So I want to thank our viewers for staying with us. Yes, what else can we say? May God continue to bless you all.
I remain your anchor on the program, Ugbebo Ikikwa. This morning, we'll be discussing the World Food Day. And Dr. Emmanuel Egariba is going to throw some light on what the World Food Day celebration is all about.
Well, the World Food Day is an annual event set aside by the United Nations. Of course, under the auspices of the Food and Agriculture Organization with headquarters in Rome. Of course, the FAO is an arm of the United Nations. And it was this World Day celebration dates back to 78 years ago. It was founded on October 16, incidentally, that's 1946, by the United Nations to sensitize people about the need to dwell on food for the people. Yes, because there are three things that are so essential for the survival of man. You have air, you have water, and then you have food. These three are quite interwoven. Without air, man dies off in about 5-10 minutes. Without water, of course, you can only last a few days. But without food, you can go on for some time, but not for too long. So they're very essential. And the theme for this year is also very apt. And what is the theme? It is right to food for a better life and a better future. Okay? This is very important, particularly in this country, for example. And I've always said that if a country can't feed her citizens, then that country has lost its sovereignty. All right? And I think that's the essence of this whole celebration, to be able to tell ourselves that it is important for us to feed our people.
All right. Just because of my very next question, we'll take this story from the front page of the Guardian newspapers that says, World Food Day, inflation wearing Nigerians begging, borrowing for survival.
That's what people are doing now. Believe it or not, that's what people are doing. People are not thinking of shelter anymore. Yes, they are not thinking, well, shelter is important, but food. You need food for survival. For survival. Daily or urgent daily survival. They need food. They are begging for food. The other day, again, we saw it. It went viral in Lagos. Somebody was benevolent. He carried a truckload of loaves of bread. And there was a deluge of people.
Yes.
Like bees. Try that kind of thing in Benin. You will be shocked. Go to Upper Sakumba area in Benin and go there with a truckload of loaves of bread. The people you will have surrounding that truck, you will not believe it. You will not believe it. But that's what it is. People are begging now for food, for urgent daily survival. And I think that we must address the issue. Unfortunately, we've been battered on so many fronts, really. I mean, as far as the food chain is concerned. On the one hand, we have floods. On the other, we have banditry. On the other hand, we have high exchange rate. All coming together to create hiccups in the value chain for food and for food production. So that's what it is. And truly, if a nation cannot feed our citizens, that nation is in fetters, whether we believe it or not. A lot of countries that are doing well in Africa and probably in the Western world, they are able to feed their people.
Okay.
Thank God now we have not even had droughts. That will have added more misery. But I pray that government, particularly the ministries of agriculture and natural resources across the country should be more innovative.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Well, you mentioned a truckload of bread. What is your view on government always doling out palliatives to tackle the issue of food insecurity?
Palliative, just like the word suggests, palliatives for a while. It does not last for long. All right. Palliatives, in its ordinary sense, will mean that you want to assuage whatever pain they are going through. But it's not a permanent solution. What we need in this country is a long-term solution. Because the palliatives you are talking about, again, because of bad deals, some of these palliatives end up in individual houses. That's to show you how bad the system can be. Palliatives, and what do they give out in palliatives? Half bag of rice. So it's a household of 4 or 5 people. What are the other things that go with it? Okay? If you give people rice without the things to cook the rice, where do you go from there? Where do you go from there? And these things are even limited. If you bring a truckload or a trailer load of rice to a place called Upper Sakumba in Benin, which is a high-density area, that thing will be exhausted within 30 minutes. And yeah, it won't go round. It won't go round. If you put it at a spot, actually people come and take, it will not go round.
Okay.
Yes. Particularly for high-density areas. If you go to a GRA, yes, you can manage, because those ones are, well, highbrow, in quote, even though everybody has been leveled now to a point of no return. So that's what it is. We must look at the long-term arrangements. And what is the long-term? We must give people loans, farmers, give them loans that are almost interest-free. Okay? 1%, 2%.
All right.
Almost interest-free. Then we must tackle the issue of banditry head on.
Okay.
And again, floods. We are lucky with floods because very soon they will recede. So we are back to farmland. But when I go to the farmland, what are the bandits? Most of the farmers have been chased away from their farmlands. They are barren. They become fallow land. Right. Across the country, I know of friends who own big farms. The workers on the farms have gone home. Yes, it's such a pity. They've gone home because bandits cannot allow them to have a breathing space. Yes, that's what
the security forces have a lot to do.
They have a lot to do. They have a lot to do, an awful lot to do.
Okay. Agricultural schemes. We've had such like Operation Feed the Nation in the past, the Green Revolution. How come they never ever work in Nigeria?
They work to some extent. I mean, then when Obasanjo was here for his first time as the head of state, military head of state, and he brought the whole idea of Operation Feed the Nation. Shagari brought Green Revolution. It worked because, I mean, it's all about consciousness. People were now growing things at their backyards, for instance, things like vegetables, tubers. They were growing these things, but suddenly, the interest was lost.
Okay.
Yes, people are still doing those things now for what we call subsistence farming. So there are things you can grow to feed your immediate family. We don't need to buy everything, particularly if you have the little space at your back. And again, we are lucky in this country. The soil is so good. God has over-blessed us with everything. Good weather, yes. Good vegetation, good soil. In the south, for instance, we don't even need to irrigate. Called rainfall, rainforest. That's where we are in the south. And things grow easily and readily too. It is only in the north, the arid areas, that they need the irrigation and all of that. But in the south, we don't. We don't need them. So, and things grow very well. Even things we used to think were exclusive preserve of the north, they are now growing here. Tomatoes, for instance, they are growing here. What do you call it now? Onions. They are growing readily in these parts. Yes, because God is so benevolent to us. So all year round we should have farming, adequate farming. And I will mention this. We need to establish farm settlements around all the states. Around settlements. We don't abide by the gains of long-term projects. Everything we do in this country is short-term, quick fix. But that's not what it is. I mean, as far as food production is concerned, we need to have, yes, I gave the example of Okomu the other day. I'm not advertising them, but that's what it is, because I've done one or two things for them. And I saw it with my eyes. That's a typical farm settlement. Yeah, you have cassava, you have plantain, you have all sorts of things growing alongside oil palm, right? And we can have all those kind of settlements all around the 3 senatorial districts in each state of the federation. The land is there, arable land for that matter, is there. And a farm settlement will give job opportunities to all kinds of people. Job opportunities. There you will have people who work with tractors. We have artisans. We have regular farmers. We have electricians. We have all kinds of people who work on the farm. All right. We have harvesters. They all work towards one goal, to have maximum food production for the people. That will just be their responsibility, nothing more. And you have a small housing unit for them. So they hardly come to town.
Okay.
Right. People in Okomo or elsewhere, they don't want to come to town because they have everything there. They don't want to come to, once they come to town, they feel like strangers because they are very comfortable over there. Right? That's what we want government to be doing.
Okay.
Yeah, for long-term arrangement. But for short-term, the Ministry of Agriculture can buy off food from farmers and sell at much reduced rates. They used to do that, particularly in Edo State. They used to every Friday, I think, but that one has gone to limbo.
All right. What about this issue as regards price control system in Nigeria? In the first place, from your own point of view, do we have a price control system?
For now, we don't. We used to have it, but it didn't work because obviously people will come from the interior. Transport will put pressure on those products. But again, I think this is where government should come in. If you must go by way of price control, government must take the lead.
Okay.
Yes, government must take the lead, not individuals. No, government must take the lead, and that's when it works.
All right. Well, my final question is this. At the time in the country, there was a ban on importation of food products. There was a ban on the importation. And we know that agriculture is not actually thriving like it should here. And so is it your take that it will be beneficial to Nigerians if the borders are opened?
Momentarily. That's what we need for survival. Open the borders. Many people have spoken about this. Open the borders and let food come in. While we are doing the needful,
okay,
for instance, while we are doing the two can go side by side, bring in food, and the food is not going, the food supply from outside is not going to be a permanent feature, even though it is scandalous. I mean, for instance, why should we be bringing in rice from Thailand? No, because we have Ilushi here in Edo State. We have plenty of rice, Of course, we have upland rice, and we have water grown along the river banks. Okay, there's no reason why we should be importing food, really. There is even a greater need for us to export food.
Okay.
Yes, because this is an agrarian country. Nigeria is an agrarian country. What made the First Republic survive? Those regions, they survived on agriculture, which we have abandoned, unfortunately, and very tragically too. We have abandoned agriculture, which should be the mainstay of our economy, rather than oil. Oil is going now. Can't you see that European countries, they are not, Western countries, they are not thinking of oil anymore? Because, first of all, it pollutes the environment. They are thinking of electric cars.
Yes.
Yes, more of electric cars. And renewable energy source. That's what they are thinking about. Because oil will come, oil will go. All right? So we must be thinking ahead. That agriculture, we must go back to agriculture. We must be self-sufficient. I think that's the word, really. We must be self-sufficient in food production. When you have self-sufficiency, then you can take out. All right? America, we keep talking about United States because they spend so much on food production. Yes, because they give farmers the leverage to be able to produce food. Yes, land is there, equipment, in terms of tractors, and inputs like fertilizers and the rest, they are there. Even in arid areas like Arizona and the rest in the United States, you see how people go into farming. Okay? So, don't they feed in Iceland?
Exactly.
Which is one of the coldest regions in the world. They still feed, they eat very well, because they have developed their fishing industry to a point where they cannot even export. Yes, fishing industry. People, you enjoy stockfish and all that. Where does stockfish come from? From the Scandinavian areas. Yes, they come because it's in excess. So they bring it to, they don't even feed on it anyway because they have a ready market in Africa. But what I'm saying is that on the long-term basis, we must encourage large-scale farming. People, and Let me also quickly say this. Our departments or faculties of agriculture should do a lot more. There is no reason why each faculty of education of agriculture in Nigeria should not have a huge farm. The land is there. Look at Uniben, for instance. I was saying it the other day, I told some of my professor friends, the faculty of agriculture there should have expanse of land around the area. That will serve many purposes. For people who are reading crop science and all that, go there. There should even be a department cited there, on the farm. Then you lock everybody up in one small faculty at the university. Then you take them on IT to maybe Delta or elsewhere. Why don't you have each faculty of education, or I keep saying education, each faculty of agriculture should have expanse of land for agricultural purposes. These children, they waste away. And then when they finish, what do they learn? Whereas each graduate of agriculture, and I'm happy though that they have a lot of specialties. Crop science is there. Animal husbandry is there. Fish farming is there. They can go along those lines for the general well-being of Nigeria. We are wasting human resources in this country, just wasting human resources. And that's very sad, very, very sad indeed. The faculties of agriculture should do a lot more. Yes, I say it with all sense of responsibility. We are putting them into a spot. So it is even with engineering. The other day we were talking, sorry I'm digressing a little bit. There's no reason why each university should not have a power source, independent power source, depending on the mental strength of the faculty of engineering. Those boys, 4 or 5 years, they just go away. Whereas a lot of them have intuitive energy to translate some of these things into possible realities. There's no, even if he's small. I understand. Professor Oshodi told me, I wrote a book about him. Said somewhere there in the University of Benin, they are making bulbs, energy bulbs. University of Benin.
Quite true.
Yes, it's true.
Yes.
Why can't you put these human resources together, fund them appropriately so that we can have a power source? After all, the university is supposed to be a little city, as it were. Some universities in America, they have airstrip. Yes, big towns standing on their own. University of Benin is like a town. Yes. Some towns in Europe are smaller than the University of Benin. I'm not even talking of ABU that has such a huge expanse of land, or University of Ife, for example. So we have opportunities to develop our human resources for the sake of production of food. Nigerians need food. It's a huge population. You're talking about over 200 million people, and they need to survive. That's one. Two, before we round up, everybody must have a little farmstead in his backyard. These things take maximum 4 or 5 months to grow. Yams, for instance. I was watching my wife the other day. She was planting yam in bags. And she told me, said, look, I asked her, all these things you are going through, when are we going to have yam from this place? She said, look, just November. It's around the corner.
Wow.
Going to harvest. In bags. They are growing. They're sprouting very well.
Okay.
Right. Vegetables, of course, we don't buy vegetables because they are in the backyard. We pluck and we cook. Right. Very soon we'll start a fish farm, a small fish farm. And I've said it once on this program that, look, for a beginner, you can have a big bowl. Put the most common now is catfish. Put the fingerlings. 6 months, they are ready for the table. They are ready for the table. So Nigerians must think inward. We have the sun. The sun is there. We're in the equator. The sun is there throughout the year. This will shock you. The hottest day of the year can even be during the rainy season. That's the way nature has arranged it. And we can take advantage of it. Are we not using solar everywhere now?
Exactly.
Yeah, because even during the rainy season, still solar systems are working. Because the sun is overhead. All through the year, it's over there. It's overhead, it's there. So government must take the lead. Let us sensitize the people. This is one of the jobs for the National Orientation Agency.
All right.
Coupled with the fact that the Ministries of Agriculture can also do a lot on their own. Okay? So that's where we are.
All right, thank you so much, sir. Like I've always said, always an interesting session with Dr. Emmanuel Egariba. And for you out there too, watching, thank you so much. I have said this over and over again. For those of you who still have difficulty getting us on YouTube, just simply type in Providence Television International. On this note, I will say thanks for watching once again. Please stay tuned.
Well, just before we round up finally, I thought you were going to be taking in on this. But let's use the next 1 minute to also talk about what we are doing extra, in addition to the television stuff.
Oh, yes.
Providence Properties has come on board. And we're happy that a lot of people are reaching out to us now. What are our services? Buying and selling of properties. We stand in the middle. If you want to buy, you want to sell, approach us. We can do the proper linkages. Estate developers, you have, you are abroad, you want to build a house, you contact us, all right? We have experts on ground who can do that. Of course, property management, you are in Lagos, you are in Abuja, you have properties here, and you can't manage those properties. Approach us. We have experts who will manage them for you while you have a good sleep. So that's Providence Properties. It's an affiliate of the station. Actually, we are the same premises, so that makes it easier for people. The same for the two based on the street here in the heart of Benin City. So it is Providence all the way. Thank you very much for being with us.
Providence all the way will remain the game changer. Thanks for watching.